Hello everyone, I'm RobtheMod and this is part 21 of Need for Speed Carbon on the Xbox 360. Apologies if I sound a bit bad. I mentioned it in the God of War video that basically I'm a little bit ill, I have a runny nose and whatever. The other issue here is that this commentary is done after the fact because, well, part 22 the commentary is going to be live even though I did it all in one go. What happened is I forgot to actually hit record. I don't know how I managed to do that, but luckily with the Elgato, which is a capture card that I use, it has like a rewind function so you can go back and capture the stuff, which means I have the footage. But obviously with the live commentary, that is lost forever. I don't understand how I actually managed to not hit record, but on both. But I guess I was just so busy trying to get everything set up. Because here's the thing with 360 and PS3 stuff. It's not normally plugged into my capture setup, so or really it's not plugged into the wall, so it involves like turning off my computer because I have to turn off the extension cable and everything to switch stuff over because it replaces the PS5 and stuff like that, so it's kind of awkward in that manner. And then the slight issue when I turn it back on is it takes like my router about, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes before it actually comes back on, which means if you have an Xbox 360 or PS3, well, the PS3 I don't connect it to online because it's modded, but with the 360, you turn it on and it's just like completely pointless because it will not connect to Xbox Live for 10 minutes while the router turns itself back on. Anyway, it needs to be Carbon, so this is a checkpoint race. It's a little bit difficult in the manner of like the first event, if that makes any sense. Like the first checkpoint was a little bit difficult, but apart from that, it was rather easy. It seems to be like that with all of them, to be honest. Although some of the checkpoints were alright, especially when I was in that RX-7. But yeah, it just seems to be a lot the checkpoints are a lot easier than they were in Most Wanted. Even when you look at the map and you can sort of see that the checkpoint is a decent distance away, it gives you plenty enough time. I wonder if there was complaints about the checkpoints in Most Wanted actually. Back in the day, back in 2005. Because, well, yeah, I mean, I understand, that game was a little bit difficult sometimes with the toll booth. It wasn't called checkpoint back then; it was called toll booth. But yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, I did this. As I do all the checkpoints, I did this first go. The next race I actually didn't do first go because it was a canyon race, and if the commentary had been done first, if the commentary was actually live, sorry if I'm even more I know sometimes my train of thought goes, but when you're like this and you try and do a commentary, it gets even worse. You just completely lose sense of what the hell you're saying sometimes when you're ill. But yeah, if the commentary hadn't been lost, yeah, that basically I would have left in some of the fails, but I can't really do a good reaction to them. I mean, obviously you didn't see me react there to the car almost flipping over, which I don't quite understand how that happened. I guess I'm gonna have to look that up either before or after this renders. Just look it up in slow motion to see how I sort of flipped it over. I think I hit the car and then I sort of clipped the curb. I'm guessing that's what happened. I don't know. But during my commentary here, I was like, I hope that absolutely doesn't affect me, because I was actually a little bit worried. But no, it didn't affect me. I beat it first go, and I beat the third race first go as well. But yeah, this canyon event that's here, I did not beat first go. If you don't, well, the canyon events obviously you have to beat what do you have to? Well, obviously when we've been playing through the game, we've beat each of the 3 bosses. And now Darius has hired them as in his crew, so we have to beat them again. And that's all what this is. And I just realised I'm sort of talking over a cutscene here, which I think I've left the cutscenes before, but I don't think there's any dialogue there. If there was, you will have I will have removed it in editing. I would have removed that section where I was talking. But yeah, I don't think there was any dialogue there. Anyway, so yeah. Of course, first of all, we've got to do is, well, you can try and get past them. I suppose it's possible, but alas, I could not seem to do it in this Carrera GT. Probably because it's stock, apart from the nitrous, which you can't use on canyon events, nor the speed breaker. But yeah, like, and he's in what? What was he in before? He was, well, obviously he was. Wolf was Tuna, so I think he was in a Lancer, wasn't he? And now he's in a. I mean, I wouldn't call him much a lot. Oh no, he wasn't. No, Lance was. Lance? Wolf was exotic, wasn't he? Yeah, that makes sense. So that's why he's in the merch logo. I kept trying to like hit him. Obviously, hitting him there was kind of useless, but I wanted to sort of like push him off the edge because it instantly wins. But it didn't quite work. Of course, when you actually get in the collision, it actually reduces your points. And of course, you falling off the end ruins it. Now, my only issue with canyon races is the fact that basically, as you can see, the camera is sort of twisting whenever he goes around the corner because it's focusing on him. I mean, it's trying to focus on your car as well, but it's focusing on both cars. Whereas when you're the one that's actually being chased, the camera is actually completely normal. So it's not really an issue. I mean, we almost went on a Dutch angle there. Basically, if you don't know what a Dutch angle is, it's where the camera sort of like rotates, like no, not sideways, but like at an angle, basically. It's not fully straight. It was used in what was that film? Battlefield Earth, I think it's called, with John Travolta. It's absolutely terrible. It was basically a big Scientology movie. But yeah. I like how I know all these useless facts, and yet, like, I wish I could put them to better use in other aspects of my life, but yeah. So we beat him, and now we have to make sure he doesn't catch us. Which is actually surprisingly easier than you would expect. Which is weird, considering I couldn't catch up. I wonder if the game sort of nerfs the person that's trying to catch up. Because he was really not... There was sections here where I get him into, like, the bottom. Like, amount of feet, which means he loses, like... It obviously, the closer he is to the top there, the more... points get lost per second, or the more you gain when you're actually doing the race, like, you know, when you're doing the race. Whereas, but then again, there's even a bit where he manages to overtake me. I think it's been a couple of days since I did this. It's because I wanted to record all the stuff that comes out this week and then do it in like one upload session instead of recording something, rendering it, and upload. There we go, he's about to overtake me here. I tried to sort of force him not to. No, he doesn't overtake me there, but that costs him points. There we go, he overtakes me. And I've got to like get him back. Fortunately, he sort of rams me. But yeah, I actually did get past him. But then there's a bit later on where he just massively loses distance. So I have no idea what the hell happened. Like... Well, to be fair, that is the area that I almost passed him on, so maybe that section is just meant to be really difficult. I am sort of hoping though that I can force Darius off these barriers off the side when we get to him, just to get it out the way. There's nothing really much more I can say right now. I mean, it's a canyon race. There's you know, I'm winning. I know I win. Yeah, it got right close there, but as you can see, I'm still like, well, I was like 20,000 ahead. I ended up with 17,000 points ahead of him, which, considering how badly I thought I did the run on the way down when I was chasing him, is kind of surprising. And I've unlocked the Skyline GTR R34. I know some of you will want me to get that, and maybe I will get it towards the end of the game. Maybe not to actually use in races and stuff, but it is something I want to do, because that was actually the car I think I ended Need for Speed Underground 2 on, which obviously I've never done Underground 2 on the channel, but it is a game that I played when I was a kid, and it's a game that I would love to do in the future on the channel. I guess it would have to be the PC version, and not so much the, you know, the console version. I mean, I suppose I could do the original Xbox version of it, right? But there's like mod packs and like graphical upgrades for the PC version of Underground 2, which wouldn't work on an original Xbox version. And I'm not even sure if Underground 2 is actually backwards compatible on 360. I suspect that it is, but also that, like, because the thing is, if I get a modded 360, which I do want to get a modded 360 at some point, if only for the purposes of games. Like, I'm never going to take it online or anything, but there's certain games that, like, I want to do on the channel that either never came out in this region, like, because I live in Europe, in the UK, and, you know, there's certain Japanese games that came out, certain American games that never came out over here, and I just love to play them. And there's not really, I don't think there is a good 360 emulator on PC. I could be wrong there, but last time I looked it up, there wasn't. And the other issue with the 360 is I would love to just soft mod mine. Soft modding is a lot different than hard modding. If you don't know what it is, it basically, hard modding is where you put a chip on the system and it, you know, that's how the system's modified. Whereas if you soft mod something, you install the mod like on like an SD card or USB stick or whatever, and basically you can a lot of the time you can easily remove the mod and return the system back to stock if you want, like if you were going to sell it or whatever, and literally you would have no clue that the system's been modified, which some people will be like, well, you shouldn't do that, you know, but at the same time it is better than having a hard modded system. But unfortunately there will never be, or supposedly there will never be, a 360 soft mod due to the way that Microsoft made the security. Now, I don't think that could possibly be the case. I doubt it. I mean, there's going to be a way in the future, I suspect. Never say never is what I'm implying, especially with the PS5, because the PS5 was actually recently soft modded through the PS4 emulator, and the changes that Sony did to the PS4 emulator, they basically tried to stop PS4 soft mods on the PS5 working by changing the way that the PS4 works, or the PS4 emulator works. But for some reason, because if you have, say, a PS2 game on a PS5 that works through the PS4 emulator, they had to allow the PS4 emulator to run in a certain manner that it doesn't normally run when it's running a PS4 game. So that basically allows the PS5 to be soft modded, and I reckon that, like, it's essentially the same way that Microsoft have sort of secured the 360 and the Xbox One, and presumably the Series X. So presumably the 360 and the Xbox One could be soft modded if there's a way in through through original Xbox emulation, because it wouldn't be 360 emulation obviously if the 360 itself can't be done, but presumably that's the way. Anyway, that's irrelevant to Need for Speed Carbon, but it is relevant to the channel. Kind of annoying that we got this police pursuit here, but yeah, because I sort of hate the fact that nearly every single race now we do in this area gets a police pursuit. You'll see this in the next one as well. We get into a couple of police pursuits, but yeah, I have been RobtheMod. Thank you very much for watching part 21 of Need for Speed Carbon on the Xbox 360. In the next one, which was actually, obviously, the commentary was done before this, I'll feel much better, and in the future videos on the channel, I will feel much better next week. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Ta-ra!